I needed an easy job, and night watchman at a dead mall sounded perfect. The pay was terrible.
But all I had to do was walk the floors of the old Montgomery's department store and make sure no one broke in. The place was a tomb. Dust everywhere, the power barely on. My only company was the mannequins frozen under the security lights. I used to think they were just plastic dolls, but one of them wasn't. The first few nights were silent. I'd do my rounds, flashlight beam cutting through the dark, past silent racks of clothes and empty glass counters. In the women's formal wear section on the second floor, one mannequin stood out. She was wearing a dark velvet dress, her head tilted just so. There was something elegant about her, even under a layer of dust. I named her Florence. It felt less lonely that way. The third night, I walked past her, and my light caught her face. Her head was turned slightly more towards the main aisle, directly at me. I stopped. I could have sworn she was looking straight ahead before. I told myself I'd just misremembered. The next night, her hand was different. One plastic finger was lifted, almost pointing. It was a small, insignificant change, but it happened again and again. A new pose every night, subtle but deliberate. By the end of the first week, I was on edge. I started my shift by taking a quick photo of her with my phone, just to prove I wasn't losing my mind. That night, I shone my flashlight on her face. On her left cheek, there was a small brown mark.
A freckle.
It wasn't there in the photo I took just hours earlier. It looked real, not like paint. It looked like it was part of her skin. The plastic around it seemed softer. Then came the sounds. A faint rustle of heavy fabric when I was on the floor below.
A soft scraping sound like a shoe dragging on tile.
I started taking the long way around, avoiding the second floor as much as I could. One night, as I stood by the escalators, I heard it clearly. A sigh. It was soft, feminine, and it came from the formal wear section. I ran down the emergency stairs and didn't go back up until sunrise. My boss called. A potential buyer was touring the store in the morning. He needed me to do a final sweep, make sure everything looked perfect. That meant going to the second floor. My hands were shaking when I got there. The formal wear section was still, but Florence wasn't on her platform. She was standing in the middle of the aisle, 1 foot forward, as if she had been walking toward the escalators. I raised my flashlight. Her face was tilted up, looking right at me. The freckle was there. Her lips, once a single piece of sealed plastic, were slightly parted. And her eyes, they weren't painted on anymore. They were wet, reflective. They were watching me. I dropped my flashlight and ran. I called my boss from my car and quit. I never went back. A month later, the sale went through. It was all over the local news. They showed a photo of the new owner standing in the store's grand entrance. She was a striking woman I'd never seen before, with elegant posture and a small, knowing smile. The photo was a little grainy, but if you looked closely at her left cheek, you could just make out a single perfect freckle.